agility. It's about instant. And so many people say, you know what, I can't do that. I can't be instant. I can't be fast. So my poster children for an organization you would think can't do it, but does, is our friends at the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. Believe it or not, they are crushing it with real-time communications. This was their first tweet, which goes down in my history book as the best tweet ever. And they said, we can neither confirm nor deny this is our first tweet. Can we have a round of applause? I never thought I'd say this, but a round of applause for the CIA. Suspected they were following me, but now we know it's true for sure. Right, the CIA, look at this one. No, we don't know where Tupac is. You can ask them questions and they'll answer. This is real. The CIA is on Twitter. How cool is this? So there's another one. No, we don't know your password, so we can't send it to you. Sorry, not sorry. So here's the thing. If the CIA is on Twitter and is on real time and is real time crushing it, you can do the same thing. It's all about instant. It's all about real time. We're not talking about social media. Those are the tools. We're talking about a real time mindset. You guys wanted to get 20%, 50%, 100% more leads. It's about a real-time mindset. The decisive advantage is speed. One of the coolest examples of real-time communications is what I call newsjacking, which is the art and science of injecting your ideas into a breaking news story. The idea here is that if you understand the bell-shaped curve that every single news story goes through, very typical bell-shaped curve, you can inject your ideas at the beginning of when that news breaks, and then the media will find it, your buyers will find it, people will talk about you, and it will be great. It's news. The idea is newsjacking. How do you do it? You monitor the news. I personally just monitor Google News. Get out my iPhone, I look at Google News. Get out my computer, I look at Google News. I turn all the filters off so I can find out what's going on in the world, and then when appropriate, I can take advantage of it. That's what Trent Silver does. Trent runs this awesome entrepreneurial business called Cash for Purses. What does he do? He's got a business where he buys used handbags, high-end, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Coach, things like that, and then on-sells them either through eBay or through retailers. His biggest problem is he needs more merchandise. So he ties his business to the news. For example, he learned that Lindsay Lohan was having money troubles. You probably remember that too. And so what did he do? He then created content offering to buy Lindsay Lohan's used handbags, right? How cool is that? So then, everyone was talking about it because these media outlets had something to talk about, right? Radar Online says, we'll buy your purses, Lindsay. Company offers big money for cash-strapped Lohan's leftovers. Here's the Huffington Post. Oh, and by the way, a link to Trent's business. Here's Huffington Post. Lindsay Lohan offered money for used handbags by fundraising companies with a link to Cash for Purses to Trent's business. Here's another one from Bazinga. Cash for Purses, Lindsay Lohan offer with a link to her website. Here's my favorite one. Lindsay Lohan's purses may be the key to her financial freedom, right? How cool is that? And all of these are linking to Lindsay Lohan, right? And what Trent told me is he makes sure he's up to date on the news, and then he injects his ideas in a positive and interesting way. He's 22 years old. He's this amazing entrepreneur. Here are Trent's results, just from the Lindsay Lohan one. How much did it cost him? 0. He just did it. How many inquiries did he get? 8,000 inquiries. He told me at one time during the heat of this, he was getting like 50 in a minute. He had a 19% conversion rate, and he generated $250,000 just by injecting his ideas into the Lindsay Lohan story. Can we have a round of applause? no doubt in my mind that you can achieve a similar result.
I can achieve a similar result.
Yes, you can. There's no question that you can. Because the people I'm sharing the ideas of, that I'm showing for you right now, learn these ideas in a room like this one. And I want you, when you take advantage of an idea like this, to let me know, because I'd like to talk with you, talk about it next time I'm on a stage, or in one of my books, or in my blog posts. Actually, somebody came up to me earlier today, saw me present in London, shared an example like this, and I'd love to talk about what he's doing as well. So one of the things that was handed out on your chair is my marketing strategy template. For those of you who are watching on the Periscope, just go to my site, Meerman Scott, you'll find the marketing strategy template. This just gives you a starting point for how you can create this stuff. It's pretty simple. You just understand your buyers, create the content, make it happen. On the back, it shows how that then leads the content to creating information. So here's another example. Because a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm in B2B business, or I create a boring product. I'm not doing verses, I'm doing boring product. I don't know if it's boring. For those people who need it, it's important. Norton makes security software, anti-malware kind of software. And it's from Symantec, and Norton is the brand name. They learned that Justin Bieber was releasing a new single. So they thought, well, this is interesting. We can, in real time, draft off of, newsjack off of this example. So what did they do? And this is just great. I absolutely love this. They put this out on Facebook. They put it out on Twitter. And they made it look like a security warning. And it said, alert! If someone sends you a link to download the latest Bieber single, don't do it. It's a link to the latest Bieber single. Is that a Justin Bieber song? I wouldn't even know. That's cool. I'm glad we have a Justin Bieber song. I can learn these things. Here's the results from Norton. It cost them $0. And they had an 18% increase in online sales in the 48 hours after the tweet. How about a round of applause for Justin Bieber and A word of caution. Beware. Beware of newsjacking a very negative story. Okay, just be careful. If you have a very negative story and you try to newsjack it, it can backfire in social media and it can harm your brand. So be careful. There's an exception though. The exception is if there's a negative story, but your company has a very distinct and real tie to that negative story. Sometimes you can take advantage of injecting your ideas into that story. And I'll show you examples of both. First of all, some negative examples that organizations simply should not have done it. Hurricane Sandy blew through the East Coast a couple of years ago. It was a terrible storm. Huge, huge hurricane. And many people, unfortunately, lost their lives. Lots of homes were destroyed. Billions of dollars worth of damage. It was a terrible, terrible storm. I mean, there was just some images of the devastation. It was brutal. InStyle magazine used that as an opportunity to send out a link to their people that said, Hurricane Sandy have you stuck inside? Here are 5 beauty treatments to help ride out the storm. Can we all say that? Ooh, it doesn't smell or sound right, does it? And they got slammed in social media because of that. It was an epic fail. Man, oh, that's a good one. Let's have that one come up in a second here, guys. How about this one? It's an online dating site. How about we? And they said 18 of our favorite Hurricane Sandy date ideas from How About We members. I don't think so. Man, I think that's a classic fail as well. It just doesn't work. Don't try to draft off of a piece of news where it's very negative and to promote your thing. This is, I think, the worst example of Hurricane Sandy. American Apparel put out, in case you're bored during the storm, We're offering 20% off everything for the next 36 hours if you live in those states. That is an epic fail. And by the way, this became such a big thing that the media, mainstream media, was talking about it. I just took this screenshot from one of the TV stations where they were talking about it. It was a massive fail. Don't do this. However, as I said, even in a negative story, if your brand has a title story, you can definitely newsjack off that story. Here's Sears, right? And what they said, did Hurricane Sandy affect your city? Get your generators, air mattresses in more than one place. Okay, that's all right. That's fair, because it's actually supplies you might need and might be helpful. One of the best, though, was Duracell. They make batteries. And they had this truck, and they had a number of them in the hurricane-affected areas where you could for free charge your mobile phone, charge your computer, charge your iPad, whatever you have, for free. And it's interesting because they're a power company. It was totally appreciated. They had that on Facebook. They had something like 1 million people like that they were doing this on Facebook. It worked really well. Yeah, we give a round of applause for that. Cecil the Lion, right? Biggest story last week, wasn't it? It was huge, huge. And people were thinking, I could see it going through people's minds. Biggest story in a long time. I could newsjack this. Caution, caution, caution. Be very, very careful with a story like this. I did see a couple of examples that worked, right? I mean, here, just so many news stories that popped up about it. Here's one that worked. Did you see the Beanie Baby people did a Cecil the Lion Beanie Baby? It was out within like 3 days, and they're donating all of the money to a charity related to saving lions. I think that's pretty good. And then one more that was pretty, and then look at all the attention they got. I just did a Google search for, Google News search for Tide and Maker Beanie Babies and Cecil the Lion. I got 303 stories. So they did great. They did great with it. And now this is wonderful. Isn't this great? This dentist says, by the way, I don't hunt lions. Yes! That's perfect. Right? Because the guy who shot Cecil was a dentist. Brilliant stuff. Right? So that's how it can work. And then many people say to me, well, what about business to business? Can we do this too? The answer is yes. And here is a great example. I'm going to give you the punchline right now. One blog post was worth $15 million. Here's the story. Joe Payne, the CEO of a company called Eloqua, learned that his biggest competitor, a company called Market to Lead, had just been acquired by Oracle, by this giant software company. So what did Joe do? Oh my gosh. He immediately went to Google, did a search, and up came precisely one story. It's right here. It's 3 sentences, and it basically says, Oracle says, we've acquired this company, and we're not going to tell you anything else about it. Right? Now, what a fantastic opportunity for Joe. Why? Because nobody's talking about what's going on. He has an amazing opportunity to talk about it, to set the tone, to provide the data, to provide the quotes. Because the media and the analysts want to know right away. They want to know what's going on here, what's happening. There's no news coming out of Oracle about it. So he did an amazing blog post in real time, start to finish, from seeing that news story to posting the blog, 2 hours. That's very, very fast. That is real time. That's before the reporters are finished with their stories. And by the way, it was midnight where Joe lives. It was 9 o'clock at night in San Francisco. Joe's from Washington, D.C., and he was able to just stay up late and do it, make it happen. Here's his blog post. Oracle joins the party. He doesn't say anything negative about the company that was acquired or Market to Lead or about Oracle. He just says, hey, this is great. They're now part of the marketing automation software business. Here's some data about the marketing automation software business. That, as a result, got them in Bloomberg Business Week with a quote. Here it is, Joe Payne getting quoted in this important blog. Here's Joe Payne being quoted in PC World. He's being quoted in Information World. By the way, the Oracle PR people got skunked on this one, didn't they? Look at this. All of their stories have a quote from the CEO of the competition. Isn't that wonderful? You can do that. I love this stuff. Then they sent out an email to everybody in their database pointing to them, to the blog post, and it came from the salesperson, right? And then that's pointing everybody to it. They tweeted it, they put it out on LinkedIn, and as a result of doing this, two things happened. The first thing that happened, they immediately, within about 3 or 4 weeks, generated $1 million worth of new sales because people said, wow, these guys are on top of it. Maybe I don't want to be a part of this combined business. Maybe I should do business with this company called Eloqua. So they signed a bunch of new deals as a result, $1 million worth of new business. Then, about a year later, Eloqua was also acquired by Oracle. Right? If you can't beat them, join them, I guess. And as a result of the acquisition, I did the math. The extra $1 million in their revenue, if you calculate it back to the $810 million purchase price, is $15 million. So I would say this is the $15 million blog post. How about some applause? Absolutely. And there is no question in my mind that you can achieve a similar result. Yes, you absolutely can. There is no question you can achieve a similar result. Speaking of newsjacking, I love this one. This is such a cool one, right? Do you remember marijuana becomes legal in Colorado? Hey, can we have a business mastery in Colorado sometime? Yeah! Right? So wait, marijuana becomes legal in Colorado. Oh, we could bring the Grateful Dead in if you like this. That'd be so much fun. So, that's not gonna happen. So marijuana becomes legal in Colorado. Ben and Jerry's, love them, said breaking news. We're hearing reports of stores selling out of Ben and Jerry's in Colorado. What's up with that? Now that's supposed to be funny. I don't quite get the humor, but some of you do, right? It's great stuff, right? It's fantastic. This is the idea of newsjacking. This is the idea of ideas into a breaking news story.